Hi there, it's great to be with you. I'm Martin Cross. This is Crossy's Corner, and in the corner today is the fabulous beach sprinter Laura Mckenzie. Hi, Laura.
Hi Martin, how's it going?
Oh, it's great. I'm so pleased that you're able to join us because you've had a very interesting day today, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I've been in a plane for a few hours. I've come all the way from Alicante in Spain. So, yeah, I'm not feeling too tired at the moment actually. I feel like I've had quite a nice, relaxed day, but yeah, so I've been on the plane.
Have you trained today?
No, we trained yesterday and we had today's our rest day, I suppose. That
Ah,
happens quite a lot just with us traveling quite a lot between home in Scotland and Caversham. It's just that we end up traveling on our rest days quite a lot, but yeah, you kind of get used to it after a wee while.
I suppose I should know more about what a beach sprinter does in the winter. I mean, like, there's this kind of view. Obviously, you mentioned Alicante. Do you just go and look for like warm, nice beaches and travel abroad till you find them?
I mean, I wish. I think we were trying to swing it with Tom, the head coach, that we could train out of Australia for the winter, just as well, chasing the sunshine. But it's like this is the first week we've been away all winter, so we started our season back in the start of December, and we've been training on the river at home, or we've been down in Caversham on the lake, or at the start of January we had an indoor camp. So we were in Cardiff for 2 weeks, the best part of 2 weeks, just on the erg for the majority of the time, doing a bit of, well, lifting a lot of weights and doing a bit of running as well. So I guess it's not as glamorous. It's always the time that everyone posts about things is when they're away in the sun and everything. But like I
Yeah.
say, it's the first week we've been away. So
Why Cardiff?
I don't know. I think it was just there was the what do you call it? The Performance Development Academy had a camp going on at the same time, and so the GB para athletes were all there as well. So it was
Ah,
nice. I think as like in a beach sprinter, you end up training quite a lot by yourself. Just the nature of the sport, there's not as many people doing it, so
yeah.
um, it's nice just like training with people. Like as much as we're on the erg, we weren't in a boat together. It was nice just turning up, having food together as well. So
So,
yeah.
when you say you do it on the ergs, like I mean, okay, so beach sprint, like maybe 500 meters ish. So you kind of want to do a lot of sprinting stuff, but I know that's not what you do on the erg. So how does the training go?
So majority of the time for us at least, I think everyone's still figuring it out, I guess, it being a new discipline. We still spend a lot of time just UT2, low heart rate, just because of the repetitiveness of the racing. So you still have to have quite a good aerobic base to like keep the fitness across and recover well in between all of the races that we have over like the 4 days or whatever. And especially on the final day where you've hopefully got like four races on the one day or three, and you want to recover as much as you can in them like 15, 20 minutes that you get off. So I think that's the focus for our winter block is just to like gain as much fitness aerobically, which I guess it doesn't sound like beach sprints because we've done quite a lot of 30 rate 20s and stuff like that. So it's not
Yeah,
quite as sprinty, but I think that's something that I personally am kind of focusing on this year. I don't think every beach sprinter looks at that. So, but yeah.
no. So, what splits are you seeing on your 30 minutes at rate 20?
30 rate 20. So full disclosure, it's not my favorite thing, but at the
Yeah.
moment, my like last week, I think I was a
Oh, wow.
157.3. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, which is actually my best so far because I used to do obviously like I used to do flat water training normally and I did a lot of 30 20s when I was at Leander, and I think the best I got to was a 158 flat. So I
Oh,
think getting a
wow.
PB this year, I'm like, I was kind of not expecting that. Just the
Yeah.
training, I wouldn't have thought that I was going to look at getting PBs in the 30 20. So yeah, but
Um, and I'm guessing I'm guessing your 2K is definitely under 7. Is it between 650 and 640 somewhere?
Unfortunately, it's not that low. I haven't done one in like 2 years.
You joking?
Um, well, no, I just haven't needed to. Like, I converted to beach sprints 2 years ago fully, and there was never like a training block or an opportunity where it was right to do a 2K. It just didn't come up. Whereas I am doing one in hopefully a few weeks, which I'm actually really looking forward to, just because my 30 rate 20 was a PB.
Oh wow.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so like I guess when I was my under 23s, when I was at Leander, I got a 6:59. So I was just under the 7 at that point. But like I'm feeling like I don't know. I feel like a few years later you do tend to, well, you'd hope that you get better, but
So that's a 6:40 now, I would say.
yeah, easily. I
So
think
do you,
it's
yeah,
yeah.
go. Do you do things like, I don't know, 10 times 500 with a minute's rest? Like when you erg train, maybe in the summer, is that is that the sort of session you do?
Um I think it's not actually like, yeah, we do have like kind of threshold, like above threshold sessions like that. I don't think specifically 10 times 500s. I used to do a lot of, oh, what was it? 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off times 12 times 3. That was like maybe the start of last year, maybe the year before,
Yeah,
end of the year before. And that was pretty brutal. So that's kind of similar, I guess, not in terms of 500 takes you a bit longer, but um I think we tend to do, I don't know, I guess this time of year we don't do as much of that, but in the summer,
yeah,
a little bit more equal rest, I reckon, but
yeah,
it's not quite as like, I guess that's what a minute off is quite short when, well, it's more than half, I guess, but yeah, I don't know, I haven't done that session specifically, but I have done other sessions that have been very
So
disgusting like that.
when you're playing around doing like what's the best split you can pull? I don't know when the last time you did that. Like I know the guys do this 7-stroke test as part of a series of things. Like what do you like seeing on the erg?
Um, we we do some 7 stroke stuff as well, but I don't look at splits, I look at wattage for that.
Ah,
Yeah, I don't
so
know if that makes a difference. But I suppose the wattage is a little bit more sensitive.
yeah,
But I think if I remember right, my last one was around 800, above eight, maybe 850 or something like that
you're
on
joking.
the 7 stroke max. Well, yeah.
Oh, is that
Um,
total over 7 strokes, or is that like a 1-stroke score?
no, that's your top, that's your highest score
Oh,
in
yeah.
seven.
Oh, that's so
So you've got
cool.
7 strokes, and that'll be your highest one,
That's
your
amazing.
best stroke.
Oh, wow.
I feel like I'm
Um,
definitely more of a an explosive power athlete than I am the endurance side, but yeah.
yeah. So, why don't we have a look? Like, I think the first time that I saw you in competition was at the European Beach Sprint Championships last year in Turkey, which
Mm.
was the same venue for the Worlds. You got a silver medal against Lobnik. How was that race for you?
Gosh, that was a while ago. That
I know.
race is, feels like a while ago. I think going into that race, I was pretty confident. Um, because I feel like when you always get to the A final, it's always the best position to be. You feel like you can just go all out and you've got absolutely nothing to lose. Like if you absolutely blow, then it's kind of a bit of it's an exciting race because you feel like you don't have to pace it in any way. Like I guess in simple terms, the worst you can come away with is a silver, but the chance for gold is just right there. So I guess that's the way I kind of approached it. But I was just really excited to also race against Magdalena. She's just such a cool athlete as well. But I think going off, I was pretty I was pretty tired, but I think I remember going off the start, I knew that I'd kind of have a strong start. I think that's kind of my thing that I've worked on quite well is I can get away quite fast. So I just had to like hold on almost. And Yeah, I think I was hoping for some more waves as well in that race, but
Why do you want
unfortunately it was quite.
waves, Laura?
I don't want waves. I think I'm pretty confident when it gets wavy. I like when it gets rough. I feel like I can handle the waves pretty well, and um it feels like it's one of these strings in my bow that I feel like I've got um got used to that pretty well. So I don't know. I feel like it's that whole thing where you want to compare yourself to the other athlete, and if you think you're better in certain conditions, then it always like gives you a bit of confidence as well. But yeah,
There were some waves in Turkey for the Europeans, but I don't think it was very wavy for the final, was it?
it was on the Friday if I remember. I feel like it was the Friday or this was it the Saturday. I feel like the final day it was just flat. I remember
Yeah.
that because um there was a bit of chat about there being waves, but actually that was the Worlds as well. There was meant to be waves on the Friday. But yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so you're really fast on the beach sprint. You must be one of the fastest female competitors in that sort of section off the start and down to the boat.
I think so.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually I went over all the times last because it was quite cool this year at Worlds
Yeah,
with
the
the
splits.
splits of the
Yeah,
sprinting from the start to the boat. And I was really happy with the scores. I felt like I was very consistent with my sprint as well. It wasn't like so I just had a fluke start. Like every sprint of start was quite fast. So yeah, I used to be like when I was a kid, I did a lot of athletics and stuff. I haven't always rode,
yeah,
so I feel like I've that was kind of part of the reason that I got into beach sprints was it was something else that I thought I was quite good at, the running part. So when it came into rowing, like I started rowing when I was like 15, but didn't really take it seriously until I went to uni. So I was still doing athletics up until the time I left high school. So
yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, I think that really it helps my agility as well. But yeah, like I did a bit of athletics and gymnastics as well. So I guess like all these things that I think kind of make you a bit more of a well-rounded athlete in some ways. But
Mm.
I think that kind of contributes to the sprint part of my
You're
race.
you're very agile getting into the boat as well.
Yeah, I think I just close my eyes and I feel like I'm in the boat. It's a really weird sensation. Like, I don't even think about it. It's just sometimes it's a flow state. You just get in the boat and you're gone.
Well, that's perfect if you can get that. Now, I mean, two of your top competitors, Emma Twigg and Magdalena Lobnig, they do a kind of hop entry, or I
Yeah.
describe it that. How would you describe it? Because I'm sure hop entry is not the right way to describe it.
No, I would probably go with the hop, like a bit of a bunny hop, I guess. They kind
Yeah,
of 2 feet.
right. What's your thoughts on that? And how often have you tried it?
Um, I can't say that I've tried it. Well, have I tried? No, I didn't try it because I only really saw it at Europeans and Worlds this year. I never really saw it.
Ah,
I'd maybe seen Magdalena doing it in some videos and stuff like that. But I never thought like I was happy with my entry. I think it's one of these things. If you're pretty confident and
yeah,
you're trying to drill something into your brain, there's no point changing it when it gets closest to the racing season, just because you want to feel like you've got it down. But I don't know. I guess I don't really have huge thoughts on it. I think I might give it a go this summer and see how it goes. But I'm
yeah.
honestly pretty happy with my entry, so I don't need to
Do you
think
know
about
who
it. But
you? Sorry,
sorry, on you go.
I said. Do you know who you sound like there? Describing that, you sound like Ander Martin because he gave me exactly the same answer.
Really.
Yeah.
I've done some research. I've been watching his video with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
So, I guess, a silver medal behind Lobnig is a decent result. Although you obviously, it sounded like you went in hoping to win that race. Um, so you ended up in the worlds with a bronze medal. I mean, how significant was that result for you?
I think, I mean, that was a big result for me personally, just the first year being in the single internationally. Um, I was excited. I felt like I didn't have a lot to lose, but just because I hadn't been the single before, I'd been the double, the mixed double previously, at the Europeans and Worlds the years before. But I was just really excited to see what I could do in the single and see how I could stack up against the competition. So I was, I guess it would have been like I felt like I could have at the time the way it came out with me racing against Emma Twigg, that was a really hard race, and I knew that would be. But I felt like the bronze medal race was just it's a different one when you win a bronze medal. It's because previously I've actually lost for the silver quite a few times in
Ah,
previous Europeans. So like in the Worlds in 2023, me and my partner Sam, we got the silver that year in the mixed double, so we lost the gold.
to New
And
Zealand,
then
wasn't it?
yeah. And then the year after the Europeans, we lost the gold to the Lithuanians. So I felt as much as the silver would have been like it's a better medal than the
Yeah,
bronze. The bronze felt really good. Like I've never like to be in under that pressure and to win the race. It doesn't feel like you're like winning bronze. It feels like you're winning. It doesn't really matter what the medal is, I suppose.
so you in that semi, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you led Twig out for the first
Yeah.
part of that. How was that?
Um, that was that was a pretty good that was a good race. I guess I led Emma out and I think she had a really good turn, and I think that turn definitely. Like going into it, she's got a really good she's an amazing rower.
Yeah,
And I knew on the flat water and like race after race, she was just recovering so well. I know yeah, how would I know? But I guess when you're in such like everybody races and everyone sits in the little holding pen afterwards, and you sit in the
mm,
erg and you can tell how everyone's feeling. Like everyone comes off every race and they're absolutely gassed, and your legs, you
yeah,
can't feel your legs, you're jelly, and you're just trying to like recover in the 10, 15 minutes that you've got. And looking across, I know maybe that's not the best attitude, but she looked really calm and really controlled.
yeah,
And I think that's the thing that stuck out to me as I went into that race. So I felt like I had to kind of rumble it a little bit. I had to go
yeah,
out there and just give it my all off the start and then hold on again, similar to maybe Magdalena. And then she got a really good turn and then basically kind of took off. And I felt like there was a bit of a decision. I guess maybe that's not the best attitude again when you're fighting for the win, but there's also a medal on the line in terms of the bronze medal. So
yeah,
it's a really difficult situation when you're racing because you kind of have to you're obviously racing really hard and your body's so tired, but you still have to have the mind that you can kind of control the next races as it goes on. You only get that in the bronze or the semi-finals. You don't really get
yeah,
that in any other point. But I think I definitely took a decision, maybe by like the second boy on the way back in, that I thought that she'd like overtaken me by quite a bit, and I kind of was saving myself slightly for the next race. So you
yeah,
probably could see that in the race, which is everybody's told me that, which yeah. Um, I think that was the decision I made at the time. Whether it was the right or wrong decision, maybe it'd be a different decision a different day. So
yeah. Personally, I think it was totally great decision. Kind of, I was thinking there as you were talking. So, how much does that save you, or how much? What does that give you in between? So, if you'd have gone flat out for the final, sorry, for the B final, where the bronze medal race, um, what would have been different? Did you actually feel better for that medal race, bronze medal race final because of what you did?
I mean, I think so. I think the difference is that when you fully end yourself in a beach sprint race, you're like your lungs are so dry, your legs are full of full of lactic acid, and every minute that you've got, you're trying to recover. So I think if you can just take the edge off slightly and not have sprinted up the beach, because especially sprinting up the beach, it does take a lot out of your legs. Sprinting in general, running, sprinting is so like it's so hard on your legs. So I think just taking that edge off, for me, it just gives me a little bit of little bit less to recover for the next one. I mean, I think it makes a big difference, but
Yeah, that's really
I'm sure
interesting.
everybody else in that position would say as well. The feeling that you get when you've absolutely like ended yourself across the line is so difficult to then pick yourself back up and go again in 10 minutes. So
Yeah. When you were talking about the turn, Laura, you talked about Emma Twigg. She turned really well. I just had a flick. Oh, like she's talking about that like it's kind of a bit of luck or fortune that if you can turn well. So what does a great turn rely on? Or how do you deliver a
um
great turn?
I think you can have like better turns than others, just sometimes even if you're really consistent on the turn, I think speaking from experience, I don't think every one of my turns is perfect.
Hmm.
Under race conditions, I think it's when you're going max sprint or max rowing, your mind's kind of under a lot of pressure and you've got a lot to think about when you're racing beach sprints because you've got steering and you're always kind of judging how far away things are. So a lot of it is trying to time it perfect. It's the timing. So when you're rowing and the boy's behind you, you have to keep turning, and then
Yeah,
judging point where the boy is, where your bow is, or where you are, and then how fast you're going relative as well. So there's all these things that you feel like you have to work out in your brain before you then take the turn. So sometimes if you have like a stroke rate that's slightly higher, you can take one extra stroke or one little stroke. Like it's
yeah,
sometimes you've got to, we used to always get a bit off like in the mixed double, we felt like sometimes we just take one extra two stroke, like one stroke extra,
yeah,
and then you send it past the boy, and that was always one stroke. So it was almost like you had to have a half stroke. So all these things, and I think that's why not every like turn can be perfect is because there's a lot of different factors going into the turn, and then you've got conditions, whether it's wavy or if there's a tailwind or a headwind, and all these things that you've got to then factor into your brain as you're approaching the turn. um but yeah.
So it's interesting. So I'm thinking, obviously you have a great coaching setup with Tom Patish, and but I'm thinking, it sounds like you're describing something that's more than a work of art, like that because there are so many factors. It's like more intuitive than calculated.
I think part of it is intuitive and then part of it is also calculated. There's definitely an intuitive part of being able to kind of judge timing and like a hand, like I guess it's kind of hand-eye coordination. In
Yeah,
some ways, people can judge like throwing a dart really well. If you can like time yourself and spot the boy in order to put your blade into turn, that can be slightly intuitive, but I think you can also teach it as well. I think there's part of it that's calculated in some ways because you can kind of come up with a recipe, whether it's when your bow hits the boy, that's when you put your blade in. But there's definitely, I think that it's kind of half and half. I think when things start to get a bit crazy, like when there are waves and there's a big wind, like a headwind, for example, you've got to be able to alter your technique slightly. So
yeah,
I think that's where the intuitive part comes in. I think you can like and also practice, just like drilling it again and again and again in so many different conditions helps a lot as well. So
yeah. Who's the
um
queen of turners in the
it's the queen of trainers.
yeah,
um
does such a person
yeah,
exist?
I don't even know if there is. I'm trying to
Okay.
think. Oh no, I can't off the top of my head. No.
How close are you to what you want to be able to do on turns, technically?
I'm pretty. Um, I was pretty happy with my turn. I think
Mm.
there's definitely a lot to be said for again just practice. I reckon I could maybe drill it down a little bit more, but it's also practicing when you're tired. I think that makes a big difference. I think it's easy enough to practice things when you're fresh, but as
Yeah.
soon as you get tired, things start to go a little bit wrong. So
Oh, I love that. That's like penalty. That's like practicing taking a penalty, isn't it? In
yeah.
football or soccer. Um, you can practice it in training and whatever, but it doesn't have the same pressure, or your legs aren't the same because you've played the whole match. Which is fascinating. There's loads of stuff that I'm learning all the time about beach sprint. So the bronze medal race against Moreno of Spain, who's a great beach sprinter. You did her right off the start, didn't you? I mean, how calculated was that?
Um, it wasn't super calculated. I think again, I just know that the start is something that I've kind of got in the bag slightly. Um, and I'm pretty confident with it. So, and also I felt like I wanted to go out and race that race really hard,
Mm,
and just show that what I could have like done if I was maybe against Magdalena or whatever different race. Um, and I think that I just really wanted to go out and race it hard and see where I could come, to be honest. And I wanted to be comfortable. After the turn, I wanted to come in knowing that I didn't want a dive finish as such. I wanted to
yeah,
feel confident coming into the beach. So I
yeah.
guess I just went out hard. But yeah.
You had a decent margin. What are your dive finishes like?
I've done I used to do roll like a people called it a front flip, but it was more of a roly poly. It was just like
How does that work?
um it was because someone would be with the camera right at the buzzer and the finish line, and
Yeah.
you dive, and then I would basically like I don't dive and land on my front. I would dive and I would just tuck my head under and roll over,
Oh, okay.
just
How
because
how many times have you dived and missed the buzzer?
I've not missed. I've not missed. Actually,
Oh, I
I've
hope I don't
genuinely
fix you.
no, I know, touch wood. But there was one race. Oh, that was crazy. It was at the 2023 Worlds with mixed double with Sam, and we were racing Tunisia. And this race, I think it's on YouTube still, is like the craziest Finnish beach sprints. And we were racing Tunisia in the quarterfinals, so it was a kind of knockout heat. And we went out, and Sam came off his seat halfway through the race, and it was one of these races that things just went a wee bit wrong. They
Yeah.
were coming in with Tunisia, and it was so close. And in my head, I'm looking across, and I'm thinking, it's the Tunisian guy in the bow, so I'm going to be
Oh,
sprinting
yeah,
against the
yeah, yeah,
guy. So we're coming into the beach, coming to the beach, and like at the time I'm just like so thinking in my zone or whatever, I jump out and absolutely leg it. And I don't realize how close it is. And then next thing I kind of in my peripheral coming up the beach, like I see a man in red and I'm thinking, oh. So I basically we both dive, and at the time I felt like I'd hit the floor first. It's a really weird feel, like it was so close. If you look back at the video, it's genuinely like we both hit the buzzer, but he slightly over hits the buzzer. So like
Ah,
he slightly goes over and I go directly onto it. So we ended up like with the win, but it was the craziest finish I've ever done. And that had to be a dive for the buzzer, but um yeah, I feel like sometimes you don't know you're gonna have to dive until it happens, and then you just think, well, it's like an instinctual thing sometimes. Well, at least for me it has been. But
yeah. I love that. I love that description. Um, One thing that was occurring to me, I meant to ask you. I did ask Andrew as well. What's the highest lactate score that you've been measured at?
I don't think I've had a whole lot of lactate measurements. Last year we
Really?
did no, just not in, like racing and stuff like that, not particularly. Um, I want to say last year we were doing some testing. I think I was around 20.
Oh, wow. That's
Um,
a lot. Like,
but that
that's,
was like after a few, so we were trying to
yeah.
see, that was after a few heats or races, I suppose. We weren't racing, but we were testing. But yeah.
So I'm guessing part of the ability of a good beach sprinter is either you want to be so good that you might not generate that level of lactate, or you want to be able to compete with, I don't know, 15 to 20 whatever millimoles of lactate in your system.
Um, I mean, that would be, yeah, if you could like work with the 20 millimoles of lactate in your system, then that would be the dream. I don't know. I think, yeah, producing less lactate. I think it's almost, to be honest, I think it's the latter. I think it's the being able to like compete with the higher levels of lactate, and be
Yeah.
able to kind of get over that and kind of push through it almost. Um, but yeah, I don't have the answer for that one, I suppose.
There was a lad, a German lad, who rode bow, I think, in the 2012 A. I think it was Philip Adamski. I may have got that name wrong, but I think he was measured. He was like lactate king, but he paid
Mhm.
for it. But he would be like 23.6, 24, even higher.
Yeah.
So there are people that have that particular tolerance. What I wanted to ask you, so you were obviously in the the mixed double for a couple of years with Sam Scrimger. Um, how did you get to be the women's single? Like, how who did you have to be? How competitive was it, and what did that involve?
So last year, I think, um, part of the kind of motivation in some ways was that my partner Sam had decided to kind of take a step back from beach sprints, at the end of last year. So, in some ways, I would have had to have felt like being able to row with somebody else.
Were you gutted
Um,
when you did that?
Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
I think like that was the right decision for him, and
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
so we're such good friends, and like that was totally the right decision. But I think at the time it also just forced me to kind of like aspire to something else. I think if we were still, I think the mixed double felt like such a crew and such a team, which was quite nice that you're kind of working for something together, which is different to being in a
Mm,
single. So I think that was really nice when I was rowing with Sam, was that it felt like something that we were working towards together and we could improve together, sort of thing.
mm,
And then when he decided to take a step back, it felt like I was just, well, I think I should go for the single then. That's kind
mm.
of the way that I felt. And yeah, I think I definitely went out wanting to be the single sculler at the start of last year, and it basically meant that I had to kind of like do well in all of the national races in the UK. So all of like the Scottish champs, the English champs, Welsh, British, all these sorts of things, as well as the trialing as well. So the actual GB trials. But yeah, so I went out and I basically won every national race last year in the
Okay.
UK. So in some ways that was a real confidence boost, and also just I guess that kind of proved that I was out there to prove a point almost that I could do it and I could do it consistently
Yeah.
as well. It wasn't like it was a one-off sort of thing, but yeah, so that's not to say that the standard's so high in the UK, especially. Well, I mean, I'm a bit biased, but I think the girls,
Yeah.
the girls are doing really well in the UK. So, like the girls that were hot on my heels last year were people like Natasha Searson and Heather Gordon,
Okay.
um, who were they're not far behind at all, and it's just, um, it is so close, and sometimes a bit of luck comes into beach sprints, but no, I think like they're really good for pushing me on as well. Like every race that I felt like I definitely had to race. It wasn't like I was getting an easy ride throughout the year,
Mm,
which I think really helped me for the Europeans and Worlds as well going forward. Um,
yeah. Um, So in the Olympics, presumably there'll be a male and a female single, and then the mixed double. Will that be the male and the female single in the mixed double for Britain, or will it be a different crew?
I think it depends on what the decision is made by the IOC or the World Rowing.
Oh, tell us about it.
I don't know. At the moment, like I think World Rowing are talking about having what the just one man and one female, one man and one woman do both, or you can choose to do either. So the nation or the country can choose to do either the single or the double or both, but they can only have one female and one male.
Oh, what do you think about that?
It's not. I think it. I don't know the reasons behind it, so I don't know. I can't comment on that, but I just think that in some ways it's good to have more people in the sport because it just it add like the beach sprints is quite a small sport to begin with, and I think cutting down Olympic spaces just seems to limit the number of people that can get a spot, and then I guess that might trickle down to the lower end or like the more club level of coastal rowing and beach sprints. Like you want to keep people motivated and especially like juniors as well. And not to say that that won't like one space at the Olympics is people aren't going to give it a shot, but I
Mm.
think the more spaces, it seems better for the sport to have more people involved, to be honest. But
Yeah, very very diplomatically put. I mean, they should really have like yeah, male and female, and then another possibility for the double. Although someone like Chris Back, I mean, he's always going
mm,
to get in the mixed double, I guess, because
I
or maybe
think
not.
I don't know. I felt like part of it was a big part of the beach sprints is everyone wants close races and everybody
Mm,
wants to watch the race. Like the better, the more the years go on, the standards get higher. Um, like the races will get closer, and it's just if you then, I don't know, I feel like if people then do both, the singles and the double, does that mean fatigue comes into things like a bit more? And
yeah.
then does that make races less about like it's more tactical in some ways? Does that make gaps bigger in terms of the actual racing? Like you want to have close racing, and if people are more fatigued, does that mean that there won't be as much close racing? I don't know.
Um,
Um,
oh, we're getting into interesting territory now. Um, so, how much of the Winter Olympics did you watch?
Oh, I've been watching so much. I've been loving it.
What did you
Like,
enjoy the most?
so I enjoyed the curling
Oh, yeah,
because you've
of
got to
course.
support the fellow Scots. There's actually a guy that I learned to row, well, at the club that I learned to row with, Loch Lomond Rowing Club, who's playing, or not playing, competing in the para curling next
Oh
week, I
wow.
suppose.
Yeah, yeah.
Graham Thomas, or not Graham Thomas, that's terrible. But Graham. And so I'm really excited to watch that next week. And I guess just there's been a lot of inspiring people like Kirsty Muir. She's
Yeah.
been absolutely incredible and like tough coming forth a couple times, but just so cool to watch. And I've also been watching ice hockey. My cousin Sarah, she doesn't play ice hockey for Canada yet. Well, she has played ice hockey for Canada. She's Canadian, but she is hoping to go to the next Olympics. So
Oh
yeah,
wow.
I think it's just a super exciting discipline, all of the beach or all of the Winter Olympic stuff, and it's yeah.
So how much so I don't know the answer to this, and it might be a stupid question. How much are you thinking, you know, thought bubble, dot, 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 is that or could that be me in um a couple of years' time?
I think that's like it's been my goal this since the start of last year, perhaps maybe the year
Mm,
before, since it was announced that it was definitely in the Olympics. It's a goal, and I think it's definitely on like my radar, and that's kind of what I'm working towards, being on the Olympic pathway at the moment, for GB. So I guess it's just a matter of hoping and doing everything that I can now over the
Yeah,
next, like, day to day. It's the simple things of I'm not a huge person that focuses on the end goal particularly. I like to make sure that I'm enjoying every day and
mm,
um, trying to just improve the small things. So hopefully it impacts the big things. But yeah, the Olympics would be an absolute dream. It's something that I've not necessarily always thought that I'd go to the Olympics.
yeah.
I think I used to want to be Andy Murray when I was a child, specifically
Oh,
Andy
did you?
Murray.
You really good with a tennis racket.
No, I just played against the wall of the house.
Oh,
But
wow.
I just like I wasn't I used to play tennis as a kid, but we used to do a lot of sports. My any sort of after school club we'd be there, I suppose. But no, I wasn't particularly good, but in my head I was like, I think Andy Murray's job would be so cool.
Oh, yeah.
But
What's he doing now? I haven't seen him for a while. Nice
I don't
guy.
know.
No.
Yeah, playing golf, is it not?
Yeah, yeah, probably. Another reason I was thinking about the Winter Olympics is the skeleton, the British skeleton team. They obviously had, I can't remember the guy's name who won
Matt
gold.
Weston, was it?
Thank you. Yeah, and his teammate, his female teammate, she was an individual. So that would be, I mean, it's obviously like not like a mixed double because they're not riding the same sled, but I mean that principle was the two individuals then came together for the team event. Uh,
Mm.
Maybe the IOC like that sort of thing. I don't know.
There seems to be a lot of that within the like the Winter Olympics just passed.
Mm,
Like the snowboard cross was kind of similar, where the two snowboarders got the gold for GB. That was like a one after the other scenario, and that's the same with the skeleton as well. I think I don't know if there's just been a big introduction of mixed team sports, of
yeah,
trying to get men and women to compete together in some way, whether it's actually being in the same crew or making up a team in like a
yeah.
relay style.
I think rowing could have got the mixed eight into the world sooner than it did, and therefore got it, or the mixed double, or whatever, the flat water rowers, because they just missed out, I think, on Los Angeles place. Um, talk to me about your relationship to flat water rowers and how they look at you as a beach sprinter. Like, what goes on in your two worlds, or are they two worlds, or how would you describe that?
I guess I think when I first kind of was doing beach sprints and I went to the World in 2022 in the quads, that was the first time I'd made the international team. I was training out of Leander at the time, and that was a bit of a they were that was very new to beach sprints, and everybody was just a bit confused. They didn't really know what it
Yeah.
was, and they were all like, "You're just taking a holiday to." Well, I was only going to Wales, but
That's
um,
not a holiday.
yeah, but basically, I wasn't at training, so in some ways, it wasn't fully respected, and I think since then a lot of attitudes have changed. A lot of people have just like either watched things or seen a lot of the content that's been put out about beach sprints and see it as quite exciting, I guess, to watch. But
Mm,
I think like I've got a lot of really good friends that are still doing a lot of flat water rowing, and I mean I think they just love asking me questions about it, and I think I know because I've done a lot of flat water and I've got a lot of experience from that. I think it only helps with the beach sprint stuff. Um and I think they just curious a lot of the time. It's not necessarily they don't have any bad blood for it, I suppose, but And also, like, they haven't, some of them have given it a go and have decided that it's really hard. But I think that's the hard thing. If people don't give it a go, it's really hard for them to understand what it's about almost. And
Yeah,
um, yeah, I think it almost, like, it did help that I kind of made a choice to do it. I wasn't necessarily
yeah.
like forced to out to do it almost. Like I was kind of going for under 23s for GB at the time. I was trialing and I was at Leander and I felt like I was in quite a strong position. And then I was also
Mm.
choosing to go out and do the beach sprint stuff. So it wasn't like
What tipped the balance towards the beach sprint for you?
well, maybe the venues.
Was it Wales then, or is it 22 your first one? Where was that in
It was
22?
it was Wales. It was
Oh
22
God,
in Wales, but that was miserable. But
so I believe.
yeah, no, I think also the community behind beach sprints is lovely. Like
Mm,
all the people that I've raced against, like Teresa and Magdalena and Emma Twigg, and um, I've met a lot of amazing people through coastal rowing,
hmm
and after the 2023 in Barletta, I've hung out with a lot of the Kiwis, and I've got friends that I've been out to visit them in New Zealand and stayed with them
Oh
purely from
wow,
beach sprints, and I think um like that would never have happened, and I think that's the thing that stuck out for me, that it's the friends that you feel like you've made, and people like Ander as well, who he's so friend, like he knows everybody. He's one
yeah,
of these people, and whenever we go out to the beach sprint academy, he's there, and it's never any bad blood between coastal rowers
yeah,
really.
yeah, yeah,
It's just a really supportive community, and you race and like you leave it all out on the course, but as soon as it's finished, it's finished, and everyone's they're just there to have a good time and appreciate everybody else and thank them for racing as well. So
yeah. I don't know whether I should talk about this, but one of the guys, an Irish guy who was in charge of the Europeans. It's the first time I met him. He lives on an island off the west coast of Ireland. Can't remember his first name, but he was really nice. Anyway, he liked going out in the evenings, and there was another guy, Eastern European, blonde hair.
I know exactly who you're talking about. It's like
Yeah,
David
yeah,
Hussey and Yuri.
yeah, and they would organise, like, like drop a pin on the WhatsApp, and
Hmm.
there would be a crowd of beach sprint people or coastal people zone
Yeah.
in on wherever they've dropped this pin.
I know. There's a big group chat
Yeah,
of just
yeah,
coastal rowers and beach sprinters. I was created like a few years ago, and you just get videos every so often of people out doing their karaoke or whatever.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But
Um, yeah. So one of the things, and you may not know the answer to this, but I thought it was fascinating that, say, the world's final between Chris Back and Andy Martin were two specialist beach sprinters, and the women's gold and silver medal final were two women who would probably be better known as flat water rowers who have come into beach sprint. Um, so to me, there was no logic in that. I was trying to understand why that was the case, and
mm,
I didn't really I didn't really have an answer to it. What's yours?
what's my answer? I think, well, first of all, I think everyone is just like Madalena and Emma are just incredible athletes in themselves in their own rights. Um, and like they really worked hard. Like I know that they were training a lot with the beach sprint stuff, so I know that like they are incredible on the flat
Mm,
water and they can move a boat really well. And I think that's a big part of beach sprint still. Like it shows that you have to be able to row well. Not
yeah.
anybody that it's not people that don't know how to row
Mm,
well or know how to move a boat efficiently that win. You've got to be able to know how to do it. And I think a lot of people do think that beach sprints comes down to luck almost and that whole part of it, but it's also not. I think you can create your own luck with it. So
yeah.
um, I think they proved that as much as they have done a lot of flat water and they've like come across the beach sprints, they are just really strong at what they do. And like Magdalena coming first at Europeans, like she was always strong, and we all knew that going into the Worlds. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I don't know. I guess the men's side, both being coastal rowers, there there actually isn't a whole lot of flat water men coming across.
No,
Um,
I've just thought of a reason why it was them.
right.
I'm going to make this up. So essentially, the two coastal rowers made less mistakes or less errors. So if you take like Finn Hamill, who's obviously like, I know he thinks he's probably equally comfortable in both, and he probably is, but Finn messed up on his boy because he was going out so hard.
Mm.
And then the German lad in the semi final against Ander,
Yeah.
he basically lost his legs. I mean, he
He
stumbled.
tripped up at the end, yeah.
Yeah, whether that was lactate or whatever. So maybe actually the specialists make less errors. I've just
Yeah.
invented that theory, by the way.
That's a good theory. I think you should keep it. I
Yeah,
like
okay.
it.
So, all right. So, unless Father Christmas comes late and says, right, you're off to the last remnants of the Kiwi or the Australian summer, I can't believe you're going to be stuck here for a few weeks or whatever. But I mean, so how is this part of the season looking for you? What's on your radar?
Um, I guess the next things coming up are we've got some internal testing next month, which will be pretty exciting. And
Where?
then in Caversham.
Oh, right.
So yeah,
Cav.
not on the sea,
Are
not
you sure
yet.
that's going to be exciting? Is that the
Oh
right word
yeah,
to describe it? Yeah. Okay.
it's a word.
Oh, yeah.
It'll happen anyways, and then the first race I think I'm hoping to do is Cyprus, which I'm really looking
Oh,
forward to. Yeah, I've been to Cyprus the last 2 years, and it's a really nice race to start off with.
who are you going to
You get a
race
lot of
there?
good
Do you know?
competition.
Like
Sorry?
who? Who turns up there? Like,
So the Austrians always go. So
uh,
Magdalena wasn't there last year, but Tabea Minchimar,
yeah.
the
Oh,
girls in the
yeah, yeah,
double,
yeah,
she
yeah.
was there last year. The Polish turn up. There's always like the Germans were there last year as well. They were really good last year. Tertuente.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like it's always a really nice race to start with because it's
Mm.
if it's like always quite rough conditions and it just kind of shakes the cobwebs out a little bit.
I love that. Is that like an April or a May race?
That last year was April, but this year it's very end of April, very start of May.
Okay, right, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that'll be good. Something to look forward to. I'm hoping to do like a few of the Philippi Cup races this year.
Oh, I don't know too much about that. Tell me.
Yeah. It's well, it started. I think it started last year, maybe. I don't know if it started the year before, but basically, it's a few races around Italy. Um, I think there's four maybe altogether. I can't really
Yeah.
quite remember. Maybe there's five, but it's kind of like a tournament style. So you've got to turn up to each of them. You can like it's a lot of Italian rowers go to everyone, and a lot of
Mm.
other international rowers go to every race. But sometimes it's just quite a lot within a short space of time to go race everyone. So I don't know if we'll make it out just because we've got other things that'll conflict with it. But um, I think we went to the final last year, and it was actually a really good setup. It was one of the best races that I went to last year
Oh,
because
wow.
we didn't have to lift the boat at all.
What?
No, there was like so many Felipe men and women who basically just were boat like picking boats out the water. So like the boat handlers, all they had to do was hold the blades. They were not picking a boat out the water at all. So it's a very
Oh,
easy on the back kind of
result.
race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
so Philippi series, and
yeah.
then, so what's like the Henley or the Lucerne event? Is there one of that stature before the Europeans, or?
So last year I don't think we kind of made it, but I feel like I don't know. I think the Portugal race
Was
last
it
year looked
Awareness?
really. Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah,
That looked really spicy last year.
yeah,
That looked really
yeah.
good. And I
Anders
think that's
going
something
there.
that we'd like to. Yeah, that's something that we've got on our radar this year as well. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think that that looks like the race that it'll be quite competitive, and a lot of people will do that before Europeans, but I also don't know where Europeans is going to be. So,
No, it's crazy,
it's
really, isn't it? Yeah, uh, I couldn't believe it. Like particularly for the coastal, the boats didn't have, because of cost implications. The boats didn't have GPS, so the only way of telling where a boat was if a drone happened to fly past and you saw the number, but the numbers on the boat, the Toblerone, were too small. So
oh,
we
this was
then
the endurance racing, yeah,
yeah, we then created a new system with the big numbers on the boats that you don't generally know, but it was like that
yeah.
was the only way to tell who was leading or not, which sort of worked a bit
Yeah.
if the drone flew by.
I know. I think there was, I don't know, there was GPS on the World Championships last year. That was quite cool. You could see the speeds and everything of all the beach sprint boats, but not the endurance. I guess there wasn't a World's Endurance, but
No,
the
no, no.
endurance is quite a crazy race when you're in it. It's always so like there's so much happens, but when it's such a shame for spectators because you can't see it half the time.
No, I loved watching the endurance racing actually.
Mm,
That was it was much more interesting than I thought. In fact, the whole thing, the introduction to coastal rowing was everything was better. I yeah. What do you think about the level of publicity the sport gives it, or anyone gives it?
I think I mean, you can always do more. I guess you got to compare it to other sports more than I think rowing in general compared to other sports probably needs to do better. But I think like World Rowing have made like a quite a big improvement on
Mm.
their Instagram content.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but I don't know. I think I'd like to see more of what happens behind the actual like racing. I think a lot of other sports, for example, like your Formula One and rugby and like the Six Nations, a lot of sports do have like documentaries. That's
yeah,
coming out weird.
yeah,
And just like a little bit of insight, because I think that's what people sometimes don't realize is like they see the race and the race is fine, but what does the race mean to a lot of people? I think that's sometimes where people, I don't know, that's sometimes where I care about races is what does it actually mean?
yeah,
Um, but I don't know. I think like for the beach sprint specifically, I think that it can definitely show off more of what it like. It's a really like spectator friendly sport, and I think you can definitely show more of that off. But also, it's just a new sport, so maybe it'll just take time to happen. I'm not
mm.
sure, but
I did watch today Ben Tufnell on Row 360s. It's their first YouTube thing, Turning the Tide, about this year's boat race, which does take you behind the scenes. And that's
hmm
exactly what would be great. They need someone to pay for it, but that shouldn't be
yeah,
too difficult. But I mean, it'd be fascinating to see, like, when you guys were out in Alicante and so on, and just the vibe there, it would be great to see all that. Uh,
yeah. I mean, it might be a little bit boring
no, well,
when people realize.
we could ask David and Yuri to use their phones to capture some
Yeah,
video
they'll be happy
footage.
enough. They'll come out. Yuri will be in his speedos.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, who is this guy? Um, so yeah, I did want to ask you because we've been talking for nearly an hour now. You had a good old break in North America, I think, after the Worlds.
Yeah,
How was that?
that was really nice. So my sister just moved to Canada, not permanently, just for, well, hopefully not permanently.
Mm,
But so I just went out to visit. We went, she's living in a little village called Fernie, which is in the Rockies in Canada.
mhm,
And it was so, so nice. It was just snow everywhere. And it wasn't quite skiing yet because they don't start until maybe mid-December or something like that. The snow comes for skiing. But we went through Banff and all these sorts of things. And like I say, my cousin Sarah, she's a professional ice hockey player, so we managed to go see one of her games as well. So
Yeah.
it was just, yeah, it was exactly what I needed. Some time away from racing and just a few weeks away.
Oh, beautiful. And really, you know, I can't let you go without saying, tell us some things about Loch Lomond, because it sounds really romantic that you live
The
in a
Bonnie
little
Banks.
cottage. Yeah. What's it like to live there?
Ugh, it's you. I think it is just home. When you come home and you look out the window and it's Ben Lomond and it's a blue, like a clear day, and you can just see all the way up the loch and all the islands. It just feels like home. And I think, um, I don't know, I'm definitely a country bumpkin in terms of I've grown up living in the middle of nowhere, so it's nice. A bit of peace as well. You feel like you go around and like you're constantly connected these days to everybody. So just to get back and have a bit of peace and quiet is almost just a holiday in itself. So I don't know, I'm just so lucky to have grown up there. And that's where I learned to row on Loch Lomond as well. And
Yeah.
there's been a lot of good rowers come from there, like Peter Haining and
Yeah.
yeah. So I think it's one of these random little spots in Scotland that is just absolutely beautiful. But yeah,
I love that.
very lucky.
Well, I hope you smash it this year in China, and that sets you up well for qualification. But obviously, there's a lot of waves to come under the boat between now and Los Angeles. It's been fantastic to chat with you. We'll end the live part of this interview now, but Laura, you're an absolute star. Thank you so much.
No, thank you very much, Martin, for having me on.